You're listening to the Kirkintilloch Herald, a Q&Review recording service podcast, brought to you by our team of volunteers currently recording from their homes across Scotland. Whether you're listening via the BWBF online players, the telephone app, or our brand new Alexa skill, please phone us on 0141 772 3976 to feedback on what you want us to provide and improve upon. Please also join your family and friends in being our audio ambassadors and share our Facebook, Twitter and Instagram all at Q&Review. That's at symbol CUEANDREVIEW.
This edition of the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald podcast is published on the 24th of August 2022. Bobby steps out in style for charity. Report by Morag Cook. The Provost and Lord Lieutenant of Dunbartonshire have congratulated a local veteran on his epic fundraising efforts. Robert Campbell, 76, known as Bobby, decided to undertake a 10,000-mile walk in aid of Macmillan cancer support, and he has already clocked up 3,000 miles so far. Having recently moved to Kirkintilloch, he walks 3 miles a day in the area, wearing a Macmillan Cancer Support fluorescent yellow vest. He's keen to talk to local people whilst pounding the streets and carries a sponsor form with him in the event anyone would like to sponsor him. Bobby said, "I recently moved to Kirkintilloch from Edzell and Angus, so I'm enjoying getting to know my new neighbours as I go out for my daily walk. I have been walking for charity for over 50 years and have covered about 107,000 miles during this time. I've walked from Land's End to John O'Groats for CLIC Sargent, Edzell to London for Malcolm Sargent House, and I've covered thousands of miles for UNICEF, RNLI, SSAFA, the British Legion and many more." Bobby has also completed some exceptional challenges, such as pushing a 12-stone wheelchair from Edzell to Aberdeen, walking 160 miles in 24 hours, and pushing a barrel of bricks weighing 17 stone from Edzell to Glasgow. Over the years, he has raised hundreds of thousands of pounds for charity, as well as pursuing a varied and rewarding career in the Army and the Ministry of Defence Police. He has received a plethora of awards and medals for his service and charity work in 1996 at Holyrood Palace in Edinburgh. Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal presented him with an MBE for his charity work. Provost Rennick said, "One of the highlights of my role as Provost of East Dunbartonshire is meeting the wonderful people who live here, and Bobby is a truly inspirational member of our community. He has dedicated his life to raising money for good causes. Despite a number of health problems and 2 artificial hips, Bobby continues to set himself exceptional trials." Lord Lieutenant of Dunbartonshire, Mrs. Jill Youngs, added, "Not only has Bobby raised thousands of pounds for charity, he inspires people, young and old alike, to enjoy daily exercise. I was delighted to meet with him and Provost Rennick to hear about his remarkable adventures in both his career and charity work. I wish him all the very best as he walks to complete his challenge for Macmillan Cancer Support." Provost Rennick added, "I would urge anyone who sees Bobby in and around Kirkintilloch to stop, have a wee chat with him and encourage him as he strives to meet his target of 10,000 miles. You can also make a donation to Macmillan Cancer Support on his behalf." And that report was by Morag Cook. This Week in History, read by me, Ian McKenna. August 24, 1916, 8 people died when Zeppelins raided the outskirts of London. On this day last year, Dame Jocelyn Bell Burnell was awarded the world's oldest scientific prize for her work on the discovery of pulsars. August 25th, 1978, the Shroud of Turin went on show for the first time on the high altar at St John's Cathedral in Turin. August 26, 1952, the Soviet Union announced that the first successful intercontinental ballistic missile tests had taken place. On this day last year, scientists said they could have a potential new approach to malaria control after their research found a way to substantially reduce the cases of the life-threatening disease. August 27, 1966, Francis Chichester left Portsmouth in Gypsy Moth 4 on his single-handed voyage around the world. On this day last year, more than £500,000 was raised for the Terence Hawkins Trust through the sale of t-shirts inspired by Channel 4 hit drama It's a Sin. August 28, 1933, the BBC was used for the first time by the police hunting a wanted man. An appeal was broadcast for information on murder suspect Stanley Hobday. August 29, 1930, the Reverend William Spooner, who gave the world Spoonerisms, died.
Amy hits the road with summer surgery tour. East Dunbartonshire MP Amy Callaghan has taken her regular surgeries on the road, offering advice and support to people across the constituency. The local MP said it was a good opportunity to provide face-to-face support to her constituents in the wake of the cost of living crisis. Ms Callaghan has been outspoken about the struggles facing local people, highlighting that food bank usage across Scotland is up by almost a third over the last year. In an intensive first week, Ms Callaghan ran joint surgeries with other local politicians in Bishopbriggs, Auchinairn, Bearsden, Lenzie and Mulgai, and has promised further dates and locations over the summer. The surgery tour is part of Ms Callaghan's wider summer constituency activities, including visits to community groups, charities and businesses. Last week she joined Mulgai in Bloom to help out with the group's litter picking activities. Westminster broke for summer recess at the end of July and will reconvene on September the 5th. Commenting, Ms Callaghan said, "Throughout the pandemic, I've been working hard to support local people, but restrictions limited much of that support to virtual surgeries by Microsoft Teams or over the phone. That's why I was keen to get out and about the constituency this summer, bringing advice, surgeries into our communities and speaking to businesses and local groups about the challenges they're facing. If you're looking for advice and support, please get in touch with my office by calling 0141 286 4086. That's 0141 286 4086. Read by Alan Todd.
Temporary hours for library, as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. New temporary opening hours will be in operation at the Lennoxtown Library from this week. The changes, which are expected to run until November the 7th, will see the library close at the earlier time of 5 p.m. on a Wednesday and shut between 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. Tuesday to Friday. Jim Neal, Chair of EDLC Trust, explained, "During this period, all the usual services will be available at the library: borrowing books, audiobooks, accessing newspapers and magazines, free internet access, computer printing and free access to subscription-based information websites such as Ancestry. There is also a digital library which can be accessed from home, with e-books, audiobooks and access to a wider range of subscription-based information websites. Membership and most services are free. We recognise the impact the change in opening hours may have for some residents and apologise in advance for the inconvenience. The amended opening hours are only temporary while we recruit new library staff due to a number of unforeseen vacancies arising. I'd like to encourage people locally to apply for the vacancies. Libraries are a much valued community resource and working there is enjoyable and worthwhile. The posts known as cultural assistants will be advertised on My Job Scotland. You can have a look at www.myjobscotland.gov.uk and on our social media accounts. EDLC has extensive digital library and cultural resources available to residents. Food for thought. New food hygiene ratings have been awarded to 8 local restaurants and cafes. The Food Standards Agency's website shows, and it's good news for all. PASS, Earlier UK plc within Allender Sports Centre, Milgai Road, Bearsden, rated on July the 26th. PASS, the Alba Collection number 40 at 40 Newkirk Road, Bearsden, rated on July the 21st. PASS, Cafe Creme at 14 Newkirk Road, Bearsden, rated on July the 20th. Pass, the Old Gatehouse at 1 Woodley Road, Lenzie, East Dunbartonshire, rated on August the 1st. Pass, the Red Brae at 88 Redbrae Road, Kirkintilloch, rated on July the 28th. Pass, the Costa Coffee at 3, the Regent Centre, Cowgate, Kirkintilloch, rated on July the 19th. Pass, Sunday nights at 23 Cowgate, Kirkintilloch, rated on July the 19th. And pass, Stewart's Catering Company at Lenzie Golf Club, rated on July the 12th.
Kids urged to get flu jab. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde is encouraging parents and carers to help keep children healthy over the school terms this winter by getting them vaccinated against flu. All primary and secondary school pupils are eligible for the vaccine, which is given in schools as a painless nasal spray. Getting children vaccinated against flu reduces the chances of them missing class time and other activities due to illness, and helps prevent them passing the illness to vulnerable family members. Consent packs with a letter, leaflet and consent form will be sent home to parents and carers of school children on return to school this week. Secondary pupils can self-consent.
Hosts need support. Dozens of visas have been issued for Ukrainians to stay with hosts in East Dunbartonshire, but a new survey reveals hosts across the country need support from the government to continue as costs soar. Since March, Ukrainians fleeing the Russian invasion have been able to apply for a visa to stay in the UK under the Ukraine Sponsorship Scheme. The scheme, also known as Homes for Ukraine, allows individuals to host refugees for a minimum of 6 months. As of August the 2nd, 60 visas had been issued for refugees staying with hosts in East Dunbartonshire, 45 of whom had arrived in the UK as of the day before. The official number of visas issued does not reflect the true number of Ukrainians heading to the area, with thousands of visas granted across the country, sponsored directly by the Scottish Government. A new survey has suggested that hosts need more financial help from the government amid the cost of living crisis, which has rapidly pushed up the price of food, energy and fuel. Across the UK, more than 17,000 sponsors responded to the questionnaire between July 7th and July 14th, with more than 70% saying the crisis has impacted their ability to provide support. Among those who said they were only planning on hosting for 6 months or were not sure, 40% said an increase in the £350 monthly payments they receive would encourage them to provide accommodation longer term. While data is not yet available for Scotland, separate figures show across England more than 1,000 Ukrainian households have been made homeless or put at risk of homelessness up to the end of June, including 780 families with children. Of those provided with a homelessness duty by their local council, around a quarter had subsequently avoided or been taken out of homelessness. The Refugee Council, a charity which advocates for those fleeing conflict, said that support and advice was needed to stop arrangements from breaking down and refugees becoming homeless. The charity's CEO, Enver Solomon, added the cost of living crisis was an additional burden to those who have already faced significant hardship.
Community space opens. A colourful new area has been officially opened in Kirkintilloch, offering people the chance to relax, socialise and enjoy a trip back in time. Provost Gillian Rennick opened the new Townhead Square community space on Friday, August the 12th. It is designed not only to be a place of relaxation, but also a place to pay homage to the area's strong community spirit and rich heritage. The regenerated and iconic red phone box recognises the historical importance of the town's iron foundries, while the olive trees conjure memories of when Kirkintilloch was at the frontier of the Roman Empire. The trees are around 150 years old, and it is hoped they will produce olives. The project has been led by Your Kirky, also known as Kirkintilloch Community Council, using its own funds and support from Scotland Loves Local, as well as help from a range of partners. Provost Rennick said, "I'm delighted to officially open Townhead Square community space. Well done to all the volunteers and partners who helped create this new area, which offers people a tranquil place to sit, relax, have a chat or reflect on Kirkintilloch's history and spirit. Nigel Rook of Your Kirky added, "This really is tribute to what can be done when everyone joins forces and works together for a community goal. All the volunteers at Your Kirky want to change our town for the better, and we believe everyone has a part to play. Our hope is that projects such as the Townhead Square help people to remember what a great place this is, to take pride and to love Kirky a little bit more. Special borders have also been installed by Your Kirky. The Rainbow of Hope was created with local school children and originally installed at Regent Gardens in December 2020 during the COVID-19 pandemic. The two large iconic images of Kirkintilloch are made up of individual photos taken by members of the community in spring 2021, again during the pandemic. The project asked people to capture images of things that helped them or gave them hope during that difficult time.
Recycle your spectacles. Specsavers in Bishopbriggs and Kirkintilloch is offering customers the chance to recycle their glasses and contact lenses in store for free. The new initiative comes after the High Street opticians teamed up with recycling experts My Group to install recycling collection boxes at Specsaver stores up and down the country. Customers at both Specsaver stores will be able to drop off both metal and plastic glasses and sunglasses, as well as contact lenses and accessories, including blister packs, contact lens cases and solution bottles. Once the collection bins are full, the items will be shipped off to My Group recycling plant. The glasses and contact lenses will be given a second lease of life and repurposed into a wide range of items such as furniture, home and garden accessories including benches and play park equipment. This is just one of the steps taken by Specsavers to try and protect the planet and achieve its goal of becoming climate positive by 2035.
Clocking up a decade of care to the community. Strathkelvin and Bearsden MSP Ronan Mackay and leader of East Dunbartonshire Council Gordon Lowe helped a dedicated local charity clock up a decade of service. Grace, Group Recovery Aftercare Community Enterprise, celebrated their 10th anniversary with a special range of events. The charity was set up back in 2012 by Kirkintilloch man Robert Smith, and since then he and his team have worked tirelessly to provide a safe space to support anyone who has suffered from trauma. We all have ups and downs in life, and most of us have friends and family we can rely on to help us cope, but not everyone is so fortunate. The ethos of Grace is to offer help to anyone who is going through an ordeal, whether addiction, homelessness or social isolation. SNP MSP Ms Mackay said, "It's fantastic to see Robert and his team clock up a decade of support and service. I was delighted to be part of their uplifting celebrations. What Grace offers to the community is so unique that Robert was nominated and went on to receive a Local Hero Award from Ms Mackay back in June 2016. At the time, a modest Robert insisted the charity is a team effort and he could not achieve what he has without the help and cooperation of the many volunteers who give up their time to help run activities every week. Now, in honour of their continuing commitment to the local community, Ms Mackay has this week lodged a parliamentary motion congratulating the charity on their 10-year milestone. It reads, "Parliament congratulates the members of Kirkintilloch-based Group Recovery Aftercare Community Enterprise, Grace, on the occasion of the charity's 10th anniversary, commends what it sees as the tenacity of founder and CEO Robert Smith in establishing and growing what is regarded by many as an exemplary service of peer-led support for people who have experienced life traumas." It added that many are now settled in recovery from addiction to alcohol, drugs or gambling. The motion also recognised the positive impact on mental health of the care and activities provided by Grace and wished Robert and his team every success for the future.
From the East Dunbartonshire Council website. Following a 2-year delay, it's finally time to go back through the keyhole of some of our best known buildings as Doors Open Day returns to East Dunbartonshire next month. The event, which takes place on Saturday the 10th of September, allows free access to lots of venues as well as sites of historic, cultural archaeological and community interest, which are not usually open to the public. Take this opportunity to follow in the footsteps of entertainers such as Billy Connolly and Peter Capaldi, and tread the boards at the Fort Theatre. You can also do a spot of ghost hunting, if you dare, for the resident spirit which is believed to roam the upper floor of the Bishopbriggs Theatre, which is home to the Antonine Theatre Group. History buffs won't want to miss the guided heritage walk of 15 of the most historically significant buildings in Kirkintilloch, led by the Kirkintilloch and District Society of Antiquities. The guided tour leaves from William Patrick Library at 2 p.m. No booking required. Another highlight for heritage lovers is the building's History Archives Open Day, also at William Patrick Library, where you can enjoy a display of local study materials and also get advice on how to research the history of your home. No journey through the area's history would be complete without a mention of Kirkintilloch's famous Lion Foundry, where iconic red telephone boxes were made. Now you can take a peek behind the scenes of the Foundry Collection store at Donaldson Crescent, Kirkintilloch, and see up close some of the items associated with this world-famous works. New to the programme this year is Colbur Farm in Mulgai. Gifted to Spinal Injuries Scotland in 2007, the splendid holiday accommodation and garden was officially opened by HRH, the Princess Royal, in 2012. The renovated house and beautiful gardens are fully accessible and are a perfect place to spend the afternoon. Jim Neal, chair of EDLC Trust, said, "After 2 years' absence, we are absolutely delighted to see the return of Doors Open Day. It is a chance for people to see behind the scenes in the parts of our well-known buildings, where there isn't usually public access, and I would encourage everyone to come along. There is something here for everyone to enjoy. In addition to all the wonderful heritage and buildings events, this year's programme includes the 50th anniversary annual art show at Old Kirk Museum, which is a highlight of the arts calendar in Eastern Bartonshire. Doors Open Day is Scotland's largest free annual celebration of heritage and built environment. It is coordinated nationally by the Scottish Civic Trust and runs throughout September as part of European Heritage Days and Scottish Archaeology Month, supported by Historic Environment Scotland. Eastern Bartonshire's event programme is organised in partnership with the Eastern Bartonshire Heritage and History Forum. For events bookable through Eventbrite, visit the Eventbrite website at www.eventbrite.co.uk. That's eventbrite.co.uk, and search for the event you are interested in. For any queries, please contact archives@eastonbarton.gov.uk. That's ARCHIVES @EASTDUNBARTON.gov.uk, or call on 0141 777 3142. Again, that's 0141 777 3142. You can also follow Eastern Bartonshire Council on Twitter and Facebook.
Time to go off Beatson track. Cancer patients and families across the country are getting ready to turn the West End of Glasgow yellow for Beatson Cancer Charity. The charity's annual Off the Beatson Track 10k walking event will be taking place on Sunday the 28th of August. The event usually attracts around 2,000 supporters each year. It's been a virtual walk for the last 2 years, but is back as a live event on Sunday the 28th of August, which STV's Laura Boyd and BBC's David Farrell will be hosting. It will start at the Riverside Museum in Glasgow and go past the Beatson West of Scotland Cancer Centre on Great Western Road, via Kelvingrove Museum and back to the Riverside Museum to finish. The charity spokesperson said, "This fun-filled 6.5-mile walk is fully accessible and perfect for all ages and a great day out with family entertainment. Sign up your friends, family, colleagues and dogs and be with us to show support for patients and families facing cancer."
Cost of living hits hard. Chas and crisis care appeal. Children's hospitals across Scotland, better known as Chas, has launched a cost of living crisis care appeal, urging Scots to help dying children and families severely impacted by the cost of living crisis. As well as providing round-the-clock care for their vulnerable children, many families supported by Chas are feeling the devastating effect of rising costs and are struggling to make ends meet. The charity is working hard to offer vital support to families facing financial hardship nationwide through its innovative Family Income Maximisation service, which provides crucial advice for families who may be forced out of work to care for their children, or who are struggling to afford regular hospital transport or suffering from food poverty. Laura Wingate and Marcus Dix were assisted by Chas after their second son Theodore was born just as the pandemic hit in March 2020. Marcus found himself unemployed while caring for Theodore, who was born with chronic lung disease, brain damage and a range of other complex care needs. He said, "When I lost my job sorting out benefits while sitting in hospital with Theodore was so stressful, Chas helping us with our finances has made a real difference to our lives." Theodore, who is now 2, finally came home from hospital on his first birthday, but because he's wheelchair bound, ventilated and tube fed, he needs 24/7 care. Marcus said, "Nurses watch Theodore overnight so we can sleep, but if they can't make it, we need to stay awake by his side in case he stops breathing. We've been his round-the-clock carers for a year now, and we live in fear of the day we can't resuscitate him." Thankfully, the family are able to get some respite in the form of Robin House Hospice in Bala. The staff are just there when you need them, and Isaac also gets really excited when he finds out we're going and calls it a mini holiday. Laura added, "The support Chas has given us literally has made our lives so much easier. We can't thank them and the supporters who donate money to the charity enough." Chas Family Income Maximisation Officer Monica Curry said, "The cost of living crisis has resulted in many of the families we support facing some of the worst financial difficulties they have ever experienced. The rising cost of fuel is also affecting the families we support, who often have to make multiple trips to appointments every week. We are also witnessing a lot more food poverty among the families due to the rising cost of inflation, and this is something that has impacted bereaved families too. Over the past 3 years, our Family Income Maximisation Service has helped over 300 families, helping to unlock nearly £400,000 in much needed funds, and we want to continue to offer this vital support. To donate to Chas Appeal, visit www.chas.org.uk/donate. That's www.chas.org.uk/donate. 30 years of help. For 30 years, Children's Hospitals across Scotland has been offering a full family support service for babies, children and young people with life-shortening conditions. This includes palliative care, family respite and support through its hospices, home care services and hospital presence. The charity recognises that the scale of need for its services is immense. Its ambition is that every family in Scotland who is living with the heartbreaking knowledge that their child is dying will be supported, cared for and helped to make the most of that precious time. It wants to work especially with those who currently receive little or no support from Chas. Travelodge offers 80 roles across Scotland. Travelodge, one of the UK's largest hotel brands, has launched a nationwide recruitment drive offering 500 jobs, which includes 80 roles across the group's 41 Scotland-based Travelodge hotels. These roles are providing an opportunity to create a career in one of the UK's most successful and growing industries. The UK hospitality sector is the third largest employer and one of the main revenue generating industries in this country. It is also one of the very few industries that enables entry-level candidates to climb the career ladder into a top management position. One of the industry's giant brands, Travelodge, is renowned for investing in developing in its people via its dedicated in-house management training programme called Aspire. This programme has helped thousands of entry-level staff members climb into the career ladder into management. Travelodge operates 597 hotels across the UK, Ireland and Spain, and there has never been a better opportunity than now to start a career in hospitality and join the 10,000 strong Travelodge team. The group welcomes everyone regardless of age, experience and background. If you are a parent thinking of starting a job or career when the schools reopen in September, Travelodge can help as it is dedicated to supporting parents by offering jobs close to home, hours that match the school run, benefits that suit families, and a path into management. The Travelodge Parents Programme makes it easier for mums and dads to work around the school run and climb the career ladder whilst raising the family. If you have just completed your hires or graduated from university and are searching for a career path, then Travelodge can help you kickstart your career and climb the career ladder into management. The opportunities are endless at Travelodge. You just need the passion and drive to succeed. Hannah Thompson, Chief People Officer at Travelodge, said, "We are currently looking to fill 500 jobs with a career opportunity across the UK, and this includes 80 roles across our Scotland hotels." To find out more about these jobs and careers at Travelodge, please visit www.travelodge.co.uk/careers.
Excellent news. Morrison's has become the first supermarket to launch its own line of carbon-neutral eggs as part of its commitment to be directly supplied by zero-emission British farms by 2030. 5 years ahead of the rest of the supermarket industry. In stores now, Morrison's new carbon-neutral, planet-friendly eggs come from Morrison's farms, where hens are fed a soya-free diet of insects. Morrison's has been working with its farmers to create net zero carbon farm models that look at neutralising emissions through the whole life cycle and footprint of the farm. Planet-friendly eggs are the first product to come out of these models, with sustainable beef, lamb and fruit and vegetables to follow. The product is also set to be the first to feature the British Lion Egg green stamp on its eggs to indicate the lower environmental impact to customers.
Mountain Writing Comp now open for entries. Mountaineering Scotland has launched its annual Mountain Writing Competition for 2022. The representative body for hill walkers, climbers, mountaineers and ski touring enthusiasts in Scotland is looking for the best in new writing about mountains and mountaineering, both in prose and in verse. Whether it's the adrenaline rush of rock and ice climbing, the tranquility and beauty of wandering gentle hills, or the wonder of travelling in the high mountains, people have always felt driven to write about their experiences in the mountains. And the steady stream of new books about the great outdoors demonstrates that people like to read about it too. The Mountaineering Scotland Mountain Writing Competition is open to all, and entries can be fact or fiction, just so long as the subject matter has a connection with any aspect of mountaineering, rock climbing, walking, or ski mountaineering, ski touring. Writers can submit one entry to each of two categories, poetry and prose. First prize in both prose and poetry sections is £200. Second and third prize winners in each section will receive £150 respectively. As well as the cash prizes, winners will see their entries published here in Scottish Mountaineer, the quarterly Mountaineering Scotland magazine, which is read by more than 14,000 members. Winning entries are also published on the Mountaineering Scotland website. Run since 1987, the competition is open to members and non-members alike and regularly attracts entries from all over the UK. Previous winners have included both published authors and people who have taken up creative writing for the first time, and include names such as veteran outdoor writer Hamish Brown and more recent arrival John Burns, author of The Last Hill Walker, Bothy Tales and other books. For anyone considering entering, prose entries should be a maximum of 2,000 words long, and poetry entries should be a maximum of 200 words, and it costs just £5 to enter per category. The deadline for all entries is 5 PM on October 31st. Full rules and details of how to enter are at www.mountaineering.scot/mountain writing.
Holyrood View by Ross Greer, MSP. Sanctions against Russia are the right course of action. It's been 6 months since Russia invaded Ukraine. Those have been 6 months of fear, pain and defiance for the Ukrainian people. More than 1 in 10 have fled the country, and more than a third have been displaced from their own home. Tens of thousands have been massacred in the most horrific ways by Russian forces. Putin and his regime deserve nothing but unequivocal condemnation. Earlier this month, I gave my own footnote to this tragic conflict, as the Russian government added me to its list of sanctioned individuals. I was part of a cohort of 39 people, including Green co-leader and Government Minister Lorna Slater, former Prime Minister David Cameron, who are now all banned from entering Russia. These largely ineffective measures from the Kremlin are a response to the UK's own massively overdue actions to damage and isolate Putin's regime. Many of us suspect that the reason action hadn't been taken long before now was the extent to which Russian oligarchs had access to and influence over the Tory party. It's estimated that since Boris Johnson became Prime Minister, the Conservatives have received over £2 million in donations from Russian oligarchs. This should have been stopped when Russia first invaded Ukraine in 2014, or when they launched their bombing campaign in Syria in 2015. But too many were willing to turn a blind eye while money kept rolling into London and to the Tory party. While it all came too late, these sanctions and other measures targeting Russia's economy are absolutely the right thing to do. My appearance on the Kremlin's counter-sanctions list may be down to my specifically proposing to the First Minister that any Scottish country states owned by Russian elites, there are unfortunately more than one, be cut off from agricultural subsidies and other support usually provided to the farming sector. I hope readers will agree that this was the least we could do, and I'm glad to report that the Prime Minister agreed without hesitation. I'm proud that Scotland has stood with Ukraine in its time of need, but I hope one day soon we will be able to stand together in celebration of their victory. Opinion. Let's talk. Letters page from this week's Kirkintilloch Herald. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. Ran gauntlet of a baying mob waving saltires. Sir, in attending the Conservative candidate's hustings in Perth, we had to run the gauntlet of a saltire waving, baying mob shouting, "Shame on you, Tory scum." In other circumstances, eggs were thrown and a respected journalist verbally abused. Would somebody explain how this type of behaviour is designed to further the case for Scottish independence? Yours, etc., John Diffie. Address supplied. The UK is like the Titanic, but Scotland has lifeboats. Sir, the news these days makes me feel like the poor souls in the Titanic when she hit that iceberg. Time to don a life jacket and seek a lifeboat station. Time to get out from under a corrupt Westminster government. Scotland needs independence, and fast. Unless the Supreme Court rules for a referendum, we need to vote for it and get out of a union that is now dragging us into poverty. Yet there are still folk who ignore what is going on because they lack for nothing and feel that voting Conservative keeps them upper class and special. They ignore news that Boris Johnson allowed a plane load of dogs to be evacuated from Afghanistan, leaving endangered Afghans who had worked for the British military forces to the mercies of the Taliban. They see no wrong in bypassing the civil service vetting of potential office bearers in national organisations and appointing Conservative donors and supporters. They encourage the headlong enlargement of the House of Lords by appointing Conservative cast-offs as the UK shuffles closer and closer to fascism. A Scotland, already self-sufficient in energy, water, and able to trade with Europe and the UK, would thrive. We have a lifeboat and should use it while we still can. Yours, etc., Elizabeth Scott, by email. Give peace a chance and bring fuel costs down. Sir, in 1982, Alexander Haig shuttled back and forth between the relevant capitals to try to broker peace and prevent a war over the Falklands. Sadly, I've seen little or no effort by prominent politicians or the UN to bring peace to the Ukraine. All Western politicians do is send over more arms and encouragement to the Ukraine leadership, which is like fighting fire by pouring petrol on it. These are the same politicians who say we are on track for a catastrophic climate change by 2030. If nuclear war breaks out over the Ukraine, it certainly won't do the climate much good. Can someone please give me a peace a chance? It might also bring down energy bills. Yours, etc., Jeff Moore. Address supplied. National Unity Government. Sir, the Institute for Fiscal Studies says the UK can't afford huge tax cuts. They are not feasible because spiralling inflation will push up the cost of government spending, leading to a lack of spare capacity for tax cuts. The IFS claims short-term borrowing to support families through the coming rise in energy bills is possible and preferable to permanent tax cuts. Liz Truss economics seem quite irresponsible in comparison to Gordon Brown economics, it would appear. The Rishi Sunak campaign says this analysis drives a coach and horses through the Truss plans, but sadly the die is cast and she seems bound for victory. Yet a quick, easily implemented plan is now all we have time for, which is why the Keir Starmer plan has merit. But what happens if the Johnsonites rallying round Truss go for a massive cost-cutting package, as advocated by Jacob Rees-Mogg? What happens depends on the level of integrity with which the Sunak team and supporters can muster. If they have even a grain of integrity, Tories of that camp must consider joining the opposition with a threat to bring down the government if it does not become one of national unity immediately. After all, these Tories are in agreement with leading economists that the Truss plan is most likely to increase inflation while doing nothing for growth and productivity. Why would investors take risks promoting industrial development at this time just because of new tax cuts? A major recession and hyperinflation is bearing down, creating weak demand. Reducing inflationary pressures is therefore the priority. Yours, etc., Andrew Vass, via email.
Warning issued on cost of living scams. Consumers have been urged to be aware of new cost of living scams in Scotland as part of the National Scam Watch fortnight. This year's Read Between the Lines campaign highlights the importance of remaining vigilant, with fraudsters using emails, text and social media to prey on people of all ages. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the national consumer advice service consumeradvice.scot on behalf of the Scottish Government, continues to see new tactics deployed as criminals try to manipulate struggling households. With energy bills set to soar, reported scams include fake discounts on prepayment meters and bogus offers of energy or HMRC rebates, which leave potential victims even more disadvantaged. Deputy First Minister John Swinney said, "Scottish Scam Watch Fortnight is an important campaign helping people to read between the lines when they are contacted unexpectedly by someone over the phone, by email, or at their front door." Consumers are also being warned about the investment scams such as cryptocurrency deals, often featuring sham celebrity or expert endorsements, circulated on social media. Alongside this are bank telephone scams and romance frauds designed to steal money. Scots are also being encouraged to be aware of traditional doorstep scams by bogus callers posing as tradespeople. The Scottish Scam Watch Fortnight, which runs on social media platforms until August 28th, will look at scam methods and offer free advice on the ways in which consumers can reduce exposure to scammers. Anyone who wants to report a scam should fill in the Scam Watch quick reporting tool at www.scamwatch.scot, which collects intelligence to share with various authorities. The Scam Watch campaign will provide tips on how to spot and avoid common scams, such as checking the legitimacy of investment opportunities and the importance of using approved and trusted traders. Free advice is available to anyone in Scotland through the Advice Direct Scotland's consumeradvice.scot service. Back to school? HMRC can help. As children go back to school, HM Revenue and Customs, HMRC, is reminding families in Scotland to not miss out on up to £2,000 a year towards their child's wraparound care. Tax-free childcare puts more money back in the pockets of working families by providing much-needed financial support towards the cost of childcare for children aged 11 or under, or up to the age of 17 if the child has a disability. For every £8 paid into a tax-free childcare online account, families will automatically receive an additional £2 in UK government top-up. Families received up to £500 every 3 months, £2,000 a year, per child, or £1,000, £4,000 a year if their child is disabled, helping towards the cost of before and after school clubs, childminders and nurseries, holiday clubs and other approved childcare schemes. In June 2022, more than 23,200 working families in Scotland benefited from tax-free childcare, but thousands more could be missing out. Overall, in June, HMRC paid out £41.6 million in top-up payments, which was shared between approximately 391,000 families across the UK. Families can find out what childcare support is best for them via Childcare Choices. Commenting, Myrtle Lloyd, HMRC's Director General for Customer Services, said, "Tax-free childcare can make a big difference to families in Scotland, helping with the bills for things like wraparound care for school children, nurseries, childminders and holiday clubs. It's easy to register. Search tax-free childcare on gov.uk."
Communities urged to apply for funds. A £970,000 fund designed to support projects and ideas to benefit the environment and local communities has opened for its third round of applications. Crown Estate Scotland's Sustainable Communities Fund, which started in 2020, has already delivered around £620,000 in valuable support to people across the country. It consists of 2 grant programmes: Community Capacity Grants, open to all communities within 5 miles of Scotland's coastline, or one of Crown Estate Scotland's 4 rural estates. Early stage financial support is available for community projects that will contribute to local regeneration and sustainable development. Grants will range between £20,000 and £50,000, with a total of £250,000 being made available in this year's of the programme. Environmental grants, available to Crown Estate Scotland tenants, providing grants of between £5,000 and £20,000 for projects which can deliver demonstrable environmental benefits within 18 months of an award being made. A total of £100,000 is available this year. Annie Braden, Head of Policy for Crown Estate Scotland, said, "Applying to the fund is easy, and the grants available can provide the financial backing to turn aspirations and great ideas into reality." Full details can be found at www.crownestatescotland.com/our-projects/sustainable-communities/fund #environmental-grants. The deadline for expressions of interest is Monday, September the 19th. The deadline for the Environmental Grants Programme is Friday, October the 14th. City Set to Light Up the Night by Morag Cook. Scotland's capital has been chosen to host an illuminating nighttime walking event for Cancer Research UK for the first time. People across Edinburgh are invited to take part in the charity's Shine Night Walk, which will take place on Saturday, October the 1st. And anyone who signs up between now and August the 30th can claim 30% off the entry fee by using code SNWAUG30. Entries are open now for the 10k event, where participants can choose to raise money for the area of life-saving research closest to their hearts. This includes research into prostate cancer, breast cancer, bowel cancer, lung cancer, ovarian cancer, brain tumours, children's cancers and leukemia. Or they can simply give their backing to Cancer Research UK's overall work. Edinburgh is one of 19 locations across the UK selected to host a Shine Night Walk in 2022. The event starts at the Mound at 7 p.m, where the participants will take to the city streets in a fun and inspirational parade of light that, stride by stride, will help the charity get closer to beating cancer. Passing some of Edinburgh's most famous landmarks, the route starts and finishes at the National Galleries, taking in Edinburgh Castle, Holyrood Palace and Kirkintilloch along the way. Cancer Research UK spokeswoman for Scotland, Lisa Adams, said, "Every day we see the benefits of research we've previously funded being realised, helping people live longer and healthier lives. That's why we're delighted to bring Shine Night Walk to the city for the first time, and we're urging everyone to help make it a night to remember. Supporters of all abilities who can take part in Shine Night Walk and training advice is available on the website. Participants can go at their own pace, from a leisurely stroll to a lively stride or a full-on power walk, passing the city's well-loved landmarks. The 10k distance is just over 6 miles and takes between 1.5 to 3 hours to complete. People can also show their support by volunteering on the night. To enter or volunteer, visit shinewalk.org.
Nearly £15 million of public sector fraud. The overall level of identified public sector fraud and error in Scotland has fallen slightly, according to the results of a national counter-fraud exercise. Every 2 years, the National Fraud Initiative identifies outcomes worth millions in estimated savings to the public sector purse. The 2021 NFI exercise in Scotland identified outcomes valued at £14.9 million compared to £15.3 million in 2018-19. Anthony Clark, Executive Director of Performance Audit and Best Value, said, "Despite the challenges of the pandemic, public bodies in Scotland continue to show a strong commitment to detecting fraud and error. At a difficult time for public sector budgets, it's important all participating bodies continue to look to maximise their participation in the exercise and act on areas of improvement identified by local auditors."
District News General, Heart of the Matter, by Dr. Frank Dunn. Nowadays, I find myself heading off to visit old friends and relatives who require support. I have an aunt aged 96 who has recently shrugged off COVID and an infected knee. Thanks to outstanding support from her family and carers, she remains in her own home. Also in the 96 Club is the wife of a late colleague of my dad. She was a virtuoso pianist, and her son is an internationally recognised cellist. She is very much on the ball, and still at home with an excellent carer. One of our neighbours in his 90s is now in a care home. He was in his day an outstanding golfer, played in the final of the Scottish Amateur Championship, and can still remember the details of his golfing peers. He lights up when the subject of golf is raised. The fourth nonagenarian is a retired medical colleague, Dr. Matthew Dunnigan. He is frail, but remembers details of his academic achievements, and they were substantial. He was the doctor who identified rickets and osteomalacia in people of an Asian background. These disorders due to the lack of vitamin D, which previously they had received from sunlight in the country of their birth. Living in Glasgow, and especially in tenements, deprived them of exposure to sun, and therefore their main source of vitamin D. Their diet did not have enough vitamin D to compensate for this. A campaign was launched to fortify foods such as the flour used in chapatis, and subsequently to augment the vitamin D further with oral supplements. This essentially removed rickets from Glasgow's Asian population. Dr. Dunnigan was assured of immortality by describing for the first time a condition known as Dunnigan syndrome. This is a rare disorder of the blood fats, which is a rare genetic disease that affects only women. The technical term is type 2 partial lipodystrophy. Dr. Dunnigan's mentor and closest friend in medicine, Dr. Jack Markson, died many years ago, and since then Dr. Dunnigan has been a most supportive friend to Dr. Markson's wife, the virtuoso pianist mentioned earlier. She became partially blind, and Dr. Dunnigan would phone her each evening to read out the key programmes on television, as well as supporting her in other ways. The elderly all have a story to tell, and hearing their stories enhances greatly the lives of the listeners. Kirkintilloch Players. The Kirkintilloch Players will be having an ambitious fundraising event on Saturday, September the 10th. This will be a 12-hour sing-a-thon. The music will start at 9 AM and continue until 9 PM. Lots of amazing songs and a wide range of voices. If you would like to drop into the Turret Theatre, 9 Eastside, Kirkintilloch, G66 1PY, to listen for a while, you don't need to stay for 12 hours, you'll be most welcome. All we ask is that you make a donation of at least £5, no upper limit. Horticultural Society. We had a beautiful sunny day for our summer outing to Falkland Palace in July, and are now looking forward to our annual flower show, which we've been unable to hold since 2019 because of the pandemic. Since the main hall at St Mary's has less availability, due to being used by the nursery, the 2022 show will be on a much smaller scale and take place in the lesser hall, St Mary's, on Saturday, September the 3rd. It will be a more informal show, and the rules are therefore more relaxed than previously. There will be no show membership fee nor charges for entries, though donations will be welcome at the door. Certificates will be awarded to the best exhibit in each class. The hall will be open to exhibitors from 10 AM to noon, after which it will be closed for judging. It will then reopen to the public between 2 PM and 4 PM. Schedules, with rules of entry and details of classes, are available from the Calder's Garden Centre and the William Patrick Library, or online at our website www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. Alternatively, those wishing to find out more can phone Paul Malcolm on 0141 578 1520. OAPs face fuel poverty. Age Scotland is calling for urgent action to protect older people at risk of fuel poverty due to rapidly rising energy bills. New research by the University of York has revealed that more than 72% of households in Scotland and 86.4% of pensioner couples in the UK are expected to fall into fuel poverty in January next year. Age Scotland's Chief Executive, Brian Sloan, said, "The findings of the research and what they mean for older people in Scotland are nothing short of terrifying. Our worst fears have been realised, and this is before we get confirmation of the next Ofgem price cap announcement. Fuel poverty is now a very real threat for the majority of Scottish households, and the grim reality is that people will die without urgent preventative action from governments. Even the maximum cost of living payment is not enough to mitigate against these costs, and more must be done." Our free 0800 1244 222 helpline provides advice and signposts to available support, as well as carrying out a free entitlement check.
Family announcements. Deaths. Sue Sim. Chris and Matthew Sim announced with great sadness the death of their much beloved mum, Sue, on August 19th, 2022, at Four Hills Care Home, having suffered from cancer for some time. Funeral service to take place at Daldowie Crematorium on Wednesday, August 31st, 2022, at 12:45 PM. Dress code informal, but please wear something pink. Family flowers only, please. All donations to Cancer Research UK would be welcome. Acknowledgements. Samuel, brackets Sammy, Fulton. Mary, Anne, Samuel, Margaret, and our dear Waynes wish to express our deep and sincere thanks to so many on the recent death of our much-loved dad. We especially thank Father V.L. Chukwemeka, SMMM, for the gift of the Eucharist and Sacrament of Sick administered to my dad at Ward 52, Glasgow Royal Infirmary. Also to Canon G.C. Tracy for a spiritually uplifting and beautiful funeral mass and spiritual comfort received. The magnificent staff at Glasgow Royal Infirmary, and most especially the team at Ward 52, whose care and devotion to Dad and support of us, his family, surpassed our wildest dreams. Thanks also to the staff of Lennoxtown Medical Practice and Farron's Pharmacy, especially the lovely David, our dad's eagerly awaited delivery driver. A very special thank you to our parish family at St Meckins, Dad's friends at Columban Singers, to neighbours and our extended family, and our many friends for the many ways you managed to show your love and support for us. We thank Marianne for the music and Margaret for the flowers. To Michael and the team at J&D Lawson Undertakers, who in these days became like family. To so many here and those not mentioned, we've been blessed with your presence. In Thanksgiving, the Holy Sacrifice of Mass will be offered for the intentions of all. Planning Notices. East Dunbartonshire Council Public Notices. The East Dunbartonshire Council, B757, Birdston Road, Milton of Campsie. Temporary closure, Order 2022. On the 23rd of August 2022, the East Dunbartonshire Council made the above name order under Section 14(1) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984 as amended, which makes it unlawful for any person to drive or cause or permit to be driven any motor vehicle, with the exception of emergency service vehicles, vehicles engaged in the works, and those vehicles requiring access to properties adjacent to the closed section of road when it is safe and practical to do so, on Birdston Road, Milton of Campsie, between its junction with Red Moss Road and the vehicular access to Kincaid House Hotel, by reason of works being executed on or near this road. This order will operate from 6 a.m. on Sunday the 4th of September until 6 p.m. on Sunday the 11th of September 2022. Alternative route. Alternative routes for vehicles are by way of the B757 Birdston Road, Milton Road, the A803 Kilsyth Road, the A891 Antermoney Road and Campsie Road, the B822 Campsie Road and Main Street, the A807 Torrance Road and the A803 Kirkintilloch Road and Glasgow Road, and these routes will be signposted. SGD Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal Services, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government Scotland Act 1982. Application for renewal of second-hand vehicle dealer licence. The Undertoned has applied for the renewal of a second-hand vehicle dealer licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant: Sharon Hunter, 128 Waverley Crescent, Kirkintilloch, G66 2DA. Day-to-day manager: Sharon Hunter. Premises: 128 Waverley Crescent, Kirkintilloch, G66 2DA. Days and hours of trading: Monday to Sunday, 9 a.m. till 6 p.m, by appointment only. Any objections or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Civic Government Scotland Act 1982. Application for renewal of second-hand vehicle dealer licence. The undernoted has applied for the renewal of a second-hand vehicle dealer licence in terms of the above Act. Name and address of applicant. Expressway Car Company Limited, Huntley Lodge, Fairfield Place, Bothwell, G71 8RP. Day-to-day manager, William Grant, 23 Ardgay Road, Bonnybridge, FK4 2FL. Premises: Expressway Car Company Limited, 94 to 100 Kirkintilloch Road, Bishopbriggs, G64 2AB. Days and hours of trading: Monday to Friday, 9:30am till 6:30pm. Saturday, 9am till 5pm. Any objection or representations in terms of paragraph 3 brackets 1 of Schedule 1 of the Act should be logged with the undernoted no later than 28 days from the publication date of the newspaper in which this advertisement appears. Deputy Chief Executive, Education, People and Business, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. East Dunbartonshire Council. Appointment to the Education Committee of East Dunbartonshire Council of a person as representative of a church or denominational body or place of worship. In terms of Section 124 of the Local Government Scotland Act 1973, as substituted by the Local Government etc. Scotland Act 1994, East Dunbartonshire Council proposes to appoint to the Education Committee, in addition to a representative of the Church of Scotland and a representative of the Roman Catholic Church, a person as representative of any church or denominational body or place of worship within the council area. The council is required to have regard to the comparative strengths of all churches, denominational bodies, or places of worship within the council area when selecting the additional representative. Notice is hereby given that any person who wishes to be considered for selection must lodge with the subscriber at the address shown below, no later than 12 noon on Tuesday, the 30th of August 2022. A written request for such consideration is to include 1. The person's full name and address with contact details. 2. A personal statement as to why selection is sought. 3. A supporting statement from the person's church, denominational body, or place of worship to include information on the number attending such churches, denominational bodies, or places of worship within the council area. Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, East Dunbartonshire Council, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Members' surgeries. Councillors' arrangements for interviewing residents. Ward 6, Lindsay in Kirkintilloch South, Willie Patterson. 29th of August 2022, Kirkintilloch Leisure Centre, 6pm until 7pm. Between surgeries, councillors can be contacted at the Members' Support Unit on 0300 1234510. Again, that's 0300 1234510. Planning applications. Format: application number / address location / proposal / type of advert / period reps. TP /ED /22 /0472. Townhead Pharmacy, 31 Townhead, Kirkintilloch, East Dunbartonshire, G66 1NG. shopfront alterations for installation of dispensing robot. Section 65, affecting CA 21 days. The application plans and other documents can be viewed online through the Council's website. The current restrictions on non-essential office work associated with the coronavirus pandemic means that plans cannot be viewed in Council offices as normal. Written comments may be made within the above period to the Council, through the Council's website or to the above address. Any representations will be treated as public documents and made available for inspection by interested parties, and may also be published on the Council's website. Group takes huge strides. An article written by Brian Newell and read by myself, Corey. Walk, run, cycle in and around Eastern Bartonshire has come a long way in the last 2 years and is now officially a consortium, able to access grant funding to help its local community. Originally set up by Lorna Thompson as a Facebook group at the start of the pandemic, after her dad took them to the Waterside Stepping Stones, it has now grown to nearly 7,500 members. Lorna said, "I decided to start a group on Facebook to share my routes and photos and to encourage others to share where they had been so me and my boys could get ideas and inspiration of where to visit locally and enjoy." Walk, Run, Cycle Kirkintilloch was born, and as restrictions eased, the area we were allowed to explore grew, so members of the group shared further afield routes and locations, and so the name changed to Walk, Run, Cycle in and around Eastern Bartonshire. Keeping it predominantly Eastern Bartonshire residents kept it feeling safe, and very much a community space for the members. April 2021 saw the launch of #WalkNTalk, with members sharing their favourite routes and a chance to meet like-minded folk for a walk and a talk. Lorna said, "We encourage all levels of fitness and ability. Genuine friendships have been formed, and anyone who attends a #WalkNTalk only ever have nice things to say. Any member can organise a walk and talk by emailing wrced2020@gmail.com or through the Facebook page. The group now run #Monday Meetup from the Kirkintilloch Leisure Centre at 9:30 a.m. There are plans for more Monday meetups in other Eastern Bartonshire towns, if more members can be encouraged to share their loved routes by leading an event. Regular child-friendly walks are organised by Leslie Lindsay. She said, "I started setting up child-friendly walks so that myself and my children both had company whilst out walking. I have found it really encourages my children to want to go out for a walk if they have other children there to play with. It makes it more fun for them." For the more adventurous, Alistair Gillies and the walk leader for the Munros and Corbett's sub-group. He said, "I regularly lead walks on the big hills and to date have had some fantastic and simply awesome days out on the mountains with a group of inexperienced and experienced hill walkers. The group hold litter picking sessions and are now the community hub for Keep Scotland Beautiful, and pickers can be borrowed by individuals and community groups. There will be regular postings about September's initiative, which is Source to Sea, working with other local groups at the Loogie. Walk, Run, Cycle in and around Eastern Bartonshire are now a consortium, meaning they can give back to the community even more by going after grants to help do this. Arnold Clark and ScotMid being amongst the first to award these grants. Lorna, along with brother Martin, Alistair and Leslie Ann Lindsay, who are on the admin team, want to say a huge thank you to them. Other grants are currently still in the process of being considered. The first AGM is planned for September 28th at 8 p.m. at the Camera Club located in East Side. Lorna said, "It would be great to see so many members attend, and details can be found on the event tab of the Facebook group. We're looking into first aid training, to purchase first aid kits, litter pickers, and even run more kid-friendly events, like our recent Easter egg hunt and Halloween spooky walk. I would love to have a bench somewhere locally to symbolise the bringing people together in a time when we were forced apart message that is so evident from creating the group, and we will fundraise for this, and hopefully work with Eastern Bartonshire Council on making this happen. I get messages all the time, and I know those who lead events do too, saying how much joy the group has brought them. This makes me extremely proud. People with mental health issues have been helped too, as one member revealed the group had helped her overcome her social anxiety and enjoy life again. Lorna, quote, "I only had a wee idea. It's the members who make it the community it is." That article was written by Brian Newell and read by myself, Corey. City out of Champions League. Glasgow City are out of this season's UEFA Women's Champions League after losing to AC Roma at Petershill Park. Close to 800 spectators braved the rain to back the 15-time SWPL champions, as they faced a side that featured a number of Women's Euros stars in their starting 11. A 12th-minute goal from Benedetta Gliona had given the Italian side the perfect start as she evaded a couple of defenders to fire beyond Lee Gibson in the City nets. However, a delightful ball from skipper Hayley Lauder saw Roma defender Moeka Minami return the ball into her own net under pressure from Desiree Monsavias, restored parity just 8 minutes later. Chances came and went for City as New Zealander defender Michaela Moore and Scottish Women's Player of the Year Priscilla Chinchilla went close either side of half-time. It would be Gillarossi who would run out 3-1 winners, though, as another strike from Gliona, coupled with an 81-minute goal from substitute Paloma Lazaro, fired them into the next round. Despite the result, City head coach Aileen Gleeson was positive in her assessment of the game. She said, "This outcome is obviously very disappointing for everyone here, but I couldn't ask for any more from the girls. I asked them to show me their heart, and that's exactly what they did. We know Roma would be a quality side. We knew they would have the ball more than us, but we stayed in the game as long as we could, and we gave them a challenge." Glasgow City midfielder Mairead Fulton was full of praise for the vocal Petershill support. She said, "Even with the weather, it was still packed. It makes such a difference for us. The atmosphere was great and it really spurs us on. So please keep coming." The defeat meant a third-place playoff with Swiss side Servette on Sunday. City thought they'd be taking the lead when Abby Grant nodded Shane's free kick across goal for Kinga Kozak to tap home, but the referee decided she had committed a foul on goalkeeper Ines Pereira. It remained level until deep into stoppage time, when a cross deflected off Moore and fell kingly for Servette substitute Cassandra Korhonen to flick the winner past Erin Clackers. City are back in league action tonight, Wednesday, when they host Dundee United and are away to Aberdeen on Sunday. Rob Roy make it through despite early red. Kirkintilloch Rob Roy are through to the next round of the South Challenge Cup after winning in extra time away to Luncarty. The visitors missed a penalty in the first minute, and then Cian Gilday was shown a straight red card 2 minutes later. A 15-minute goal by Craig Mitchell gave the home side a half-time lead. Strikes by Derek McNabb after 63 minutes and Jamie Barclay after 68 minutes put Rob Roy in front. However, Ben Scarborough scored 5 minutes from the end to send the game into extra time. Luncarty also went down to 10 men, as Rhys Davies was shown 2 yellow cards, and 2 minutes before penalties could be required, Connor Hughes grabbed the winner. Rob Roy boss Stuart Maxwell said, "It was a bit of a roller coaster. We missed a penalty and then get a straight red card. I'm a bit mystified, as for me it was just a coming together, but I think their boy has manipulated the situation. We battled for 87 minutes with 10 men, and were the better side for large periods of the game. Deservedly went 2-1 up, and then got caught with 5 minutes left. We showed great character in extra time, and thoroughly deserved our win. It was a great finish by Connor Hughes, fitting to win any cup tie." Rob Roy have been drawn away to St Andrews in the next round of the cup, which will take place on September 10th. Perhaps thankfully for their weary legs, Rob Roy have no game this week. Tigers roar into the playoff semi-finals. An article written by Brian Yule. Glasgow booked their place in the semi-finals of the SGB Championship playoffs after beating Redcar by the narrowest of margins in the tense night on Teesside. The Tigers led by 10 at one point, but looked to have lost the meeting when the Bears took the lead for the first time after 14 heats. That came after the blow of losing number 1 Craig Cook in the previous race, when he was brought down and forced to withdraw after 4 heat wins. But Tom Brennan and guest Aaron Summers roared to a 5-1 in Heat 15 to seal 3 points and guarantee the Tigers' place in the league's top 2. The result means they qualify directly for the semi-finals alongside Leicester with 4 other sides, including Edinburgh, set to battle it out in the quarter-finals. Boss Cammy Brown said, "It was a very long, hard night. We were down to the walking wounded at the end, but the boys were fantastic. Craig was immense, and he was so unlucky to be taken out yet again through no fault of his own. He looked like he would go unbeaten. It didn't look good after his crash, but we never gave in, and I'm absolutely ecstatic to be in the semi-finals again. People don't realise how hard it is to make the top 2 in our league, because it is so competitive. Redcar might not even make the playoffs, and look how good they are. We now need to see if we can get everyone back fit. Tom took a heavy knock tonight and was almost out of the meeting, so we have 4 riders carrying injuries. We need a week or 2 where we can recover, and that extra break might help us. Once again, I am so pleased for the fans. They were amazing tonight, as they always are." The Tigers headed to Plymouth last night, Tuesday, to complete their regular league programme, though the result would have no bearing on their final position. Brown hoped Cook would be available for that tie, but the position was still up in the air as the Herald went to press. Brown added, "He needs the bike time. It didn't look like that against Redcar, but we want to get him as much time on the bike as we can before the really important matches." Meanwhile, rank outsider Kim Nielsen won the FIM Speedway Grand Prix Challenge in Glasgow, The 32-year-old Swede was 125-1, with bookmakers on Saturday morning to finish top of the rostrum at Ashfield Stadium. But he beat meeting favourite Dan Bewley twice, once in his programmed rides and once in a run-off to decide the winner. Bewley finished second, with Jack Holder making up the first three riders to be guaranteed a place in the next year's World Championship. Nielsen said, "It's crazy. Of course I came here to try and make the top three. I wouldn't do it otherwise. I was open-minded about what would happen. It's just unbelievable and I'm so happy." GB star Robert Lambert failed to make the podium, finishing on 10 points, while former Glasgow star Rasmus Jensen also made it into double figures. That article written by Brian Yule. Rosvale's first point. Rosvale got on the board in the WOSFL First Division with a 1-1 draw at home to Cumbernauld United. Fraser Malcolm scored after 28 minutes, and although United equalised, Rosvale held on for a point. West Park United lost 4-2 away to Camelon in the South Challenge Cup. The West Park scorers were Ryan Jack and Stephen Graham. United have no games this weekend. Petershill lost 3-1 away to Cumnock in the Premier Division, with Johnny Branks scoring. Ashfield won 2-1 away to Glasgow Uni in the Second Division, with Bobby Barr and Fraser Sheridan goals. Glasgow Pershore lost 3-1 away to Craigmark Burtonians in the WOSFL Second Division, with Ryan Gemmell on the scoresheet. Scottish Junior Cup ties. Friday, Rossvale versus Muirkirk Juniors. Saturday, Petershill versus Nairn St Ninian. Buckhaven Hearts versus Ashfield. And Perthshire versus Cruden Bay. Rossvale Academy travel to Eglinton on Saturday in the 4th Division.
Thank you for listening to this week's Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, brought to you by Q Review, print speaking to the blind. If you've any feedback, you're welcome to call us on 0141 772 3976. If you enjoyed this recording, feel free to subscribe to our channel.